Welcome to Critical Path Podcast.
Okay, so I want to start with a fact that, for me, it just sounds completely unbelievable.
Right.
A single anonymous cyber attack on a car company. And it forces the UK government to step in with what was it? A £1.5 billion loan guarantee.
And here's the kicker, the part that really puts it all into perspective. That money wasn't a direct bailout for the giant corporation, for Jaguar Land Rover.
Yeah, no.
It was specifically to keep its Tier 2 supply chain businesses from going under.
Exactly. We're talking about hundreds of smaller companies. I mean, you think of a national crisis that needs that kind of money. You're picturing a war, maybe a recession.
Something huge.
But this was just malicious code. It's absolutely wild.
This is Critical Path, where we explore stories and innovations about our global supply chain that connect our world to your everyday life.
And today, we are getting into what has to be the ultimate supply chain irony: the digital siege of Jaguar Land Rover back in late August 2025. I mean, think about it. This is a company famous for building these incredibly rugged, apocalypse-proof vehicles. The Defender, the Range Rover.
The kinds of cars you'd want in a disaster movie. And their entire global multi-billion-dollar operation was brought to a complete standstill for almost a month.
By an enemy they couldn't see.
And what we want to figure out today is how this shadowy group, Scattered Lapses Hunters, managed to paralyze this behemoth by using, of all things, a medieval tactic on modern logistics.
It's an incredible story.
So let's set the stage. The target is Jaguar Land Rover. It's a symbol of British engineering, luxury. It's a massive multi-billion-dollar behemoth.
Yeah, this isn't a small operation. They have these huge, highly automated factories all over the world. The UK, Slovakia, India, China.
And to run all that, to coordinate it, they rely on this masterpiece of efficiency, the just-in-time system, JIT.
And for anyone who doesn't live and breathe logistics, JIT basically means you have zero buffer. Parts show up at the assembly line, maybe minutes before they're actually installed on a car.
Like a ballet.
It is. It's designed to be perfectly efficient, to cut out all the waste and storage costs. It runs like a Swiss watch.
But it's also the ultimate high-wire act, right? If that flow of parts stops for even an hour,
the whole line stops instantly. There's no warehouse full of parts to draw from while you fix the problem.
And that is the exact vulnerability that the Scattered Lapses Hunters went after on August 31st, 2025.
Yeah, and what's so smart and so terrifying about this attack is what they didn't target.
Right. They didn't steal the blueprints for the new electric Range Rover. They didn't hold customer data for ransom.
They didn't even mess with the infotainment systems in the cars. They ignored all the flashy stuff and went straight for the operational jugular.
JLR's core internal IT infrastructure.
Exactly. The really boring sounding stuff, the ERP systems, enterprise resource planning, the manufacturing execution systems, the stuff that actually runs the business.
This wasn't a smash and grab. It was designed for systemic paralysis. They didn't want to loot the castle.
They wanted to shut the castle down completely, from the inside.
And that choice, that strategy, is why you have to look back centuries to really get how brilliant this was.
This is my favorite part. We're talking about a medieval siege tactic. It's called poisoning the well.
Okay, lay it out.
So if you're a smart medieval commander, you don't throw your army against a massive stone castle wall, JLR's physical factories. It's a waste of men and resources.
The castle lord feels safe. The walls are strong. The robots are humming. The employees are ready.
He's confident in his physical defenses. But that whole fortress, that whole powerful castle, it depends on one single, often vulnerable thing.
The water supply.
The well, or the aqueduct. And the moment you contaminate that source of water, the strength of the walls becomes totally meaningless. Your own defenses trap you.
It's not about breaking down the door. It's about making life inside impossible.
That's it. And that is the perfect analogy for the JLR hack. The Scattered Lapses Hunters didn't attack the walls. They poisoned the digital well.
So if we map that onto the company,
yeah,
the factories and robots are the muscles.
The suppliers and parts are like the digestive system, constantly feeding the machine.
The dealerships and showrooms,
yeah,
that's the circulatory system getting the final product out.
But the core IT network, that GIT management system, that is the brain, the central nervous system. It's the digital well that every single part of the operation has to drink from.
It tells the robots what to build, it tells the suppliers what to ship, and crucially, it tells the accounting department who to pay.
And here's what's so insidious. The hackers compromised it so deeply, so systemically, that JLR executives had to make this This agonizing decision.
They chose to shut it all down themselves.
Yeah.
Proactively.
Yes. Imagine being in that room. You realize your core systems are infected, and you have to hit the big red off switch on your entire global business to stop the poison from spreading.
Wow.
So production lines in 4 countries go silent. Dealerships can't register new cars. And most importantly, all communication with suppliers just stops for nearly a month.
The irony is just. It's incredible. A company known for its ruggedness, totally immobilized by code, and the internal cost was staggering. We're talking estimates of over 50 million pounds a week.
A week? Just bleeding money. But that's only half the story, isn't it?
Not even, because the real devastation, where this becomes a true modern warfare story, is the ripple effect, the GIT dominoes.
When that central IT system, that digital well, went dark, so did all the payments.
This is where you have to zoom in to humanize it. Let's talk about the Dave's Bolt and Screw Emporium example.
Right. Dave's a Tier 2 supplier, a small, specialized shop outside Coventry that makes these bespoke, high-tensile fasteners.
So the really specific, really strong nuts and bolts that hold a Range Rover chassis together. He's been doing it for 40 years.
His whole business is JLR. And his margins are, razor thin. He's got 15 employees.
So under JIT, he's not making bolts to sit in a warehouse.
Yeah.
He makes exactly what JLR's system tells him to make, right when they need it.
And when that system went into a digital coma, his order book just vanished.
But it was worse than that. It wasn't just about future orders. He couldn't get paid for the last 3 huge shipments he'd already delivered.
Exactly. The invoices were in the system, but the system was offline, paralyzed. For a small business, cash flow is everything. He needs that money to buy the raw steel for the next order.
So he was facing bankruptcy. Not because demand was gone, but because the digital pipe that delivered his payment was clogged.
He was about to lay off his whole team.
And you multiply that story by thousands of Daves. That's when reports started coming out that over 100,000 jobs across the UK auto supply chain were at immediate risk.
And that's the moment this stops being a corporate problem and becomes a national economic emergency.
The government had to step in. They knew that even if JLR fixed its computers, they might not have a supply chain left to come back to. All that knowledge, that capacity, could have vanished overnight.
Which explains that huge number, that £1.5 billion loan guarantee. It wasn't a gift to JLR. It was life support for all the Daves out there.
Emergency liquidity to keep the industrial base from collapsing. Just incredible.
So this all brings us to the big takeaway, the aha moment from this whole disaster. In our chase for maximum efficiency with things like JIT, we've built this incredible, optimized global machine.
But we've built it on a tightrope. Every single digital connection that gives us that amazing efficiency is also a potential point of infection.
The lesson is the same, whether it's medieval besiegers or the scattered lapses hunters.
Your company is only as strong as your most vulnerable lifeline. And today, that lifeline is almost always digital.
I mean, the biggest, strongest companies are completely dependent on the health of these tiny, often invisible digital arteries connecting them to their suppliers.
So resilience in the future. It's less about having a warehouse full of spare parts.
It's much more about segmenting your digital wells, building systems where, a compromise in one area doesn't take down everything else.
So Dave can still get paid even if the main production schedule is offline.
That's the future of business continuity. The battlefield is digital now, and you are only as safe as your most easily poisoned data pipe.
Absolutely. It's a really expensive reminder that the next big global conflict might not be fought with soldiers, but by anonymous people launching attacks on the supply chains that keep our world running.
Which leaves a pretty big question for everyone listening.
So we'll leave you with this thought. What is the single most vulnerable digital lifeline in your industry? Or even in your own life?
Yeah, think about it. What's that one system that, if it went dark, would bring everything to a grinding halt? That's probably where your resilience efforts need to start.
Drop your thoughts on that, your own single points of failure in the comments. We always love reading those.
Thanks for listening and watching.
Please like and subscribe, and make sure to check out our other podcasts.